everyone. Welcome to TBC You and Me. I am Aparna Sood, and today the session is going to be about importance of clear direction in life and what role does society play in it. I would like to welcome our guest today, Lucy Abigail. She's the founder of Keys to Clarity, which provides empowerment coaching through journals for fulfillment seekers. Hi, Lucy. How are you?
Hi, Aparna. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Really amazing. Wonderful. Would you like to tell us something about what is Keys to Clarity about?
So Keys to Clarity is my business that I've very recently set up. And we are empowerment coaching, as you say, for fulfillment seekers. Now, what is empowerment coaching? I get that question asked a little bit.
Exactly, yeah.
And what it is it's all about helping people live fulfilling lives. Now, fulfillment is different for different people. The way I define it is by living towards a meaningful goal or working towards a meaningful goal. So for me, my meaningful goal is to help other people live fulfilling lives. That's why I set up Keys to Clarity. That's why I do what I do. And so to help other people do that is as I say, it's my purpose, it's what I'm here for.
That's very, very interesting because what made you actually decide to follow this particular business?
It was my lack of not knowing what a fulfilling life was. And that took me down a whole few years worth of self-discovery and a lot of learning. I did a lot of my learning in positive psychology. So that's all of the science behind the best self-help books. And so I've got a good few theories wrapped up in my brain now, and I'm applying them in pretty much my daily life to live a happier life and more fulfilling life for myself. And I'm hoping to share that with other people.
Wow. So I'm sure all of us, including me, we are going to learn a lot today from you, that how we can get some clarity. If you remember, when I contacted you, we had a chat. The first thing was about clear direction, right? Don't you think that is very subjective? And what does it mean to have a clear direction?
Yes, absolutely. I think nowadays it's really common for most people to be pushing towards a universal path, which is to get the qualifications to go into university, to get a career. And all of this happens quite early on, and so when you're kind of 14, 15, you're already thinking about what options do I take? You're narrowing yourself down. And actually, I think in order to have a clear direction, especially at those teenage years, you need to be thinking broader. You need to be exploring interests. You need to be, I kind of always align it to dating. You need to kind of have failed relationships with different interests. You need to know what you don't want in order to know what you do want. And the one thing you shouldn't be doing is narrowing yourself down into one lifelong commitment when you haven't even really figured out if there's a connection there,
Right.
So when it comes to a clear direction, it is very subjective, and you have to figure that out for yourself, and that is a process. Absolutely.
When you say narrow it down, do you think generally students, especially as we mentioned, because everyone has a set path set for them that, okay, this is going to be the next step. That's how you're going to be. This is the subject you're going to study. That's it. And nobody questions it, of course, because it's just that's how it's going to be. So do you think we actually have time to narrow down the options? And if yes, how?
Well, in the whole grand scheme of things, yes, absolutely, we have the time to narrow it down. But when we're talking of the student time frame, no, we don't. Especially within the actual allotted time of school, we definitely don't, because the interests that we're allowed to explore that are set for us, and those are the different curriculums that we go through. If you want to be an ice skater, you can't do that in school, can you? So there is an element of doing it outside of school, absolutely, and hopefully you're growing up in an area where you can just go out and explore your interests, but unfortunately it does take money. If taking that ice skating, for example, the skates, the ice time, all of the other equipment, the teaching staff, all of that stuff, and that's just for one interest,
Right.
And so if you are going to date around, as I say, there are elements to that which don't make it so easy, and I did wish that there wasn't that element of money so that anyone could explore anything and do whatever that they wanted and they weren't limited by anything.
Right.
Sadly, that's not the reality that we live in. But definitely.
So basically, it's about that. If you don't have the choice, you need to find ways to make it happen and find ways to explore more instead of just getting stuck.
Absolutely. And one thing I do say to people is the 5-hour rule, is that for 5 hours every week, try and carve out the time, no interruptions, no distractions, no nothing, just single focus, deliberate practice in something that you're interested in, you
Ooh.
know. Just think of it like a date, you know. This is, you're dating your interests, you know. Is there a connection there? Is it something that you're enjoying doing? You know, is it something you want to go out and do again? And it doesn't have to be a long commitment. You can say, right, I'm going to do 1 hour of deliberate practice on this one interest, and then you can see if you like it. So I'm going to do it again, then again,
Right.
then again, and then maybe you commit yourself for the short term. Say, do you know what, I'm going to, for the next 3 months, I'm really going to commit myself to this and to see if there's something there.
Right.
And then, you know, you can always kind of at the end of those 3 months say, actually, this didn't turn out how I wanted it to.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
So when we
and unfortunately, there's no breaking hearts.
right, of course. When we say clear direction here, so Lucy, is it about life, career, or what?
It's all of it combined, which I know is not a helpful answer.
No, of course it is, because everyone needs a clear direction. But when it comes to an individual, suppose any age, some of us, some of the viewers, they might be going to uni, some of them might be doing some job. So how to find their clear direction? What way should they be thinking that, okay, this is the clear direction for life, for my career, for my personal relations? Or is it all combined together with one answer?
So you've touched on a couple of different things.
Yes.
Firstly, a clear direction is both broad in that it encompasses all of the different areas of your life, and it's also very detailed. So it's looking at your life in stages, it's multi-layered. So you're saying, right, this is what I want my life to be like in a year, in 3 years, in 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, having that long picture view. The other thing to remember is that as you kind of get closer and closer to the horizon is going to push further and further away, because as you learn more, you realize all of the things that you don't know.
True.
So expect your vision to change as you grow. You know, it's not a destination that you're getting to, it's about the growth, it's about the progression that you go through in trying to get to whatever version of reality you'd like, you know.
So you
and
mean
that's
to
not to say that only by getting to the destination can you live a happy life. You actually get a happy life in working towards the destination, because what I always say is the bigger your future, the better your present, you know. And
True.
the more you realize why you're working for what you're working for and what you're working towards, the more this day counts, you know, the more this day has meaning, because you know what you're working for.
Right. So it's like, enjoy the process. You cannot
Absolutely.
just like focus on the final peak or the summit. You need to enjoy your climb, otherwise there's no fun.
Yes, but the thing is I kind of, whenever I hear someone, you've got to enjoy the journey,
yeah,
it's like, yes you do, but how do you do that is my next question. And
right.
the way you do that is by having that clear direction, knowing what you're working towards, and making sure that the actions that you're doing today are in alignment with actually working towards that bigger picture, that bigger view.
Right, that's really interesting. Well, tell us something about yourself, Lucy. Like, what do you do? How do you do it? And what do you want in life? Like, do you have your clear direction? As you said, that you actually began exploring this particular domain because you didn't have your direction. So now do you?
Absolutely, I do. That's why I'm doing this, is to help people do the same thing. But for me, my clear direction is absolutely business is my route. That's the route that I've chosen. It's very good for the autonomous part of me. I've tried the employment route. I explored that interest. I realized that it was not my calling. It was not where I was suited. It wasn't my environment. So business is definitely one of the routes, and another route is philanthropy in all of its forms is something I definitely want to explore. And this is the next part about the vision, is it's multi-stage. So I know for right now I'm full focus on the business front, you know, but I know that when I hit kind of 22, so in 2 years time, 3 years time, I really want to be able to carve out about 20-30% of my time to philanthropy, right. You know. And so I don't need to worry about, am I being philanthropic now? Am I, because I know in 2-3 years time, it's in the books, you know?
Right.
And the same can be said for any dream. You know, if say I wanted to write a book, you know, I can say, right, well, I'm focused on my business now, but in 5 years time, that's when I'm going to write my book, you know? And it can just put your mind to rest, saying that dream is going to happen because I've said it's going to happen then. And it just allows you the freedom and the space in your mind to go full focus on whatever it is that you're working on right now.
Right. So is it like set your goals, move toward them, and be flexible about it? Like, are we moving in the same direction? Right. So it's not about getting stuck at one stage and just like banging on. Instead of just like be flexible, learn, and just keep changing if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no what's the word? Hard and fast rules, you know?
Yeah, nothing set in
if
stone.
there are, you set them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also,
as long as you're working within the confines of the law, you just want to put that preface in there. But yeah, absolutely. Everything else is up to your own interpretation.
So as you said that you understood that it was not your calling, right? Many people use that as an escape, that, oh, it's not my calling, I'm not going to do it, just leave it. So what do you have to say about that? Because people think they are confused, they don't have clarity, and the word they use is, it's not my calling, you know? So I'm just going to move somewhere else.
Here's the thing, purpose, destiny, calling, whatever you want to frame it as, a lot of people use it different words. You have to choose it for yourself. It is not kind of determined for you. It's not something inherent that you're born with.
Of course,
You have to choose it for yourself. And what I always say to people is, before you even get to purpose, find your passion, because you want to be able to use your passion to fulfill your purpose. If that makes sense. What and also, the way I define purpose, just so that it makes sense to people, is how are you giving to others? How are you helping others? You know, we're all relational to one another. You can't take any of us out and for us to make sense just on our own. We're contextual to our environment and the world around us. So how do you give to others? For me, that's when I'm helping people to live a more fulfilling life. You know, that's the purpose. My passion is business. I use business to fulfill my purpose.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. Yeah. So basically it's about, you need to understand first that what your passion is, what you're interested in, explore it, put some efforts into it, and then you have to basically serve the society in some way. It's not just about you, it's about us. Nice.
Nail on the head.
So as today's topic is like, you know, getting a clear direction in life, how did this topic like click with like different generations? Because there are so many people out there that are having different frames, different spheres. How do you think they can just begin with, as we mentioned about school students, that, you know, look outside with professionals and with so many people who drop out, they're looking for stuff, they don't know what their passion is, what their interest is, kind of lost. Do you think people don't have a clear direction? And like, you know, is there a reason behind it?
Yes, absolutely. There are plenty of reasons. I mean, one is that we are now in a privileged position in at least our culture, our Western culture, to have so many different options available to us. That's very overwhelming. You know, it's really infinite, the amount of paths you can take. And that's when you don't have a kind of a list of priorities, you know, as to what you want and what you want to achieve, you don't know which path's right. And a lot of people, because they don't have that clear list of priorities, they take what everyone say should be their list of priorities.
True.
You know, and you see people kind of flock mentality into, oh, well, I want to have the wealth and the house and the car and the cool relationship, and that they want these kind of status symbols, social status symbols. And so they follow the same route as everyone else to achieve these same goals, you know? So pull yourself out of that flock mentality, say, right, what's important to me? And then apply that to the different routes that you can take, you know? And there will be some which are inherently cool to you in a way, in that, you know, you're interested in them, you know? You know, because there are some people who are like, I really don't like maths. I been in a maths class, I know I don't like it. There are some people who have been in, I don't know, geography or some other subject, or PE or whatever it is, and say, actually, this is me. I'm feeling this. There's a connection here. I'm liking it. I'm going to continue in that light.
Right.
Yeah.
There are very different kind of people. If you see, like some people, they have many interests, but they cannot really turn them into passion. For example, like playing badminton. You enjoy it, but not to an extent that you'll actually go crazy for it. Oh, I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn this skill. No, it's a pleasure-seeking activity. That's it. Whereas there are so many people who are actually so good at something, they don't like it. So it's like, okay, what should I do? Should I earn money? Or should I just, try to go something in the opposite direction?
Here's the thing. If you thoroughly enjoy something, it won't feel like a task or a work for you to be able to actually do it and practice it. And then just by really enjoying the practice of it, you'll continue to practice, you'll get better, you'll put yourself in a position where you can get paid for it. Either you can become that professional badminton player because you love it that much, or you can say it's computer science, you've learned to code, you can get a job as a computer scientist, or you can set up a freelancing business as a computer scientist, or as a coding or website coder or whatever it may be. So don't necessarily worry about what I want to do to earn money. What should I do to make me happy, and then do it enough to put yourself in a position that you can then earn money through it. My approach to business is it's purpose-led, then it's people, then it's profit. Profit's always important to remember. Baseline is always something that needs to be thought of. But if you go into it for money, you've got the wrong thinking. You're going to be chasing the wrong ideas. You're not going to enjoy it. And because also you can always get more money. It's And there's another point to that, is when you go back and see the start of business, it was a barter system. It was service for service. It wasn't money for money or money for service, know. And the way I look at it now is really profit and money is a byproduct of good business, because you go into business to serve people. That is I am solving someone's problem. Every business out there is solving a problem for somebody else. They happen to get a byproduct of money from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you mean to say don't run after money, is it?
In one sentence, yeah.
Like, of course, what I believe is that it is important. Like in today's materialistic world, it is important. You cannot just avoid the fact, oh, it's okay, don't care about the money. You need
as
money.
I say, always respect the bottom line. Absolutely. I don't think about money. It is important to think of it. Just don't prioritize it. That's
so true. That's the right way to put it. Don't prioritize it, but instead, as you said, first your interest, put your efforts in it so you can actually find your passion, and then you have to find your purpose to serve and connect. And this way you can actually reach your direction, the clarity of where you want to be. Amazing. So in this the entire process, how does society play a role? Because there are so many societal parameters. They throw all their things at you. How does it work?
So on a large scale basis, if we're talking kind of social media and what is promoted out there, it's absolutely terrible, because it's an echo chamber and everyone's all promoting the same things. And it's not promoting this idea of a unique path. Instead, it's promoting a universal path. So on a big picture level, it's absolutely terrible. On a close community-based level, it's brilliant, especially if you've got accountability groups. I'm very fortunate that I have a group of 4 friends and we're all together, and we go into that group every 2 weeks, and we just give our time and we help each other out. Wow. And it's really tight-knit, and that is amazing, because you're just helping each other down each other's road,
Right.
Equally, family, friends, they're always really supportive. Very rarely do you find someone who genuinely doesn't want you to do well, And if you do have that person, don't have them in your life. Just in a sentence. I know sometimes it can be hard, and it certainly is easier to say than it is to do. But when they're negative people, either ask them, say, look, I don't like how you're talking about this. It's not how to communicate with them. But
Right.
try and quiet that voice as much as you can.
So basically, find your inner circle instead of having the lame, bigger and bigger circle where nobody really cares about you. Rather, the inner one where you actually care about each other.
Yeah.
But do you think the societal parameters that we have, for example, you can't do this. Oh, this is not good for girls, maybe. Oh, you shouldn't be doing this. This is not right. So, how to deal with those things? And does that actually obstruct the way to find your clear direction in life?
It does if you listen to them. You have to be the sort of person who says, right, no, I want to do this. And if you are really crystal clear on why you want to do it, and that is part of your direction, knowing, first of all, what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? How are you going to do it? And knowing that you can achieve it, those are the 4 parts of your clear direction. Those are the 4
Brilliant.
elements. So knowing why, the motivations,
right,
that's really, really vital, because when you inevitably come up against obstacles or opportunities, as I call them,
right,
you're going to doubt yourself. You're going to say, is this right? Because you're going to have to make an option when you hit these obstacles, which is, do I quit or do I double down? If you've got the motivations and you know why you're doing it, you'll double down, and you'll double down every time if they're strong enough,
right.
So absolutely, a clear direction is what you want to do, why you want to do it, how you're going to do it, and believing that you can achieve it.
So easy. What, why, how, and believe in yourself. This is actually so easy. Like if somebody throws any liner at you, because people out there, they're always ready with their punchlines. You can't do it. Like seriously. So if you have the clarity in your head, what, why, how, you can actually deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, it's a clear example. I'm someone who doesn't like put my face on camera. It's just my personal preference. And so Instagram, now I'm doing marketing for my company. That's horrible for me, because you have stories, reels, all of these sorts of things. And it just so happened that the very first reel I posted with my face on it, within the first 20 views, I got a negative comment, because this is the world we live in. And I could have done one of 2 things in that moment. I could have taken the reel down and stopped posting any reels, or I could have deleted the comment and just posted another one the next day anyway.
Right.
Guess which I did,
What did you do?
I did the second. I deleted the comment and put another post up today. And the reason why is because I know why I'm doing this. I know who I'm doing it for, which is another clear part you want to get clear on. And if they don't want to be part of it, that's fine. I'm not going to be for everybody.
So
8 billion people in the world, well, nearly. How can I expect all of them to agree with me? I can't. So I'm going to cater for my audience and the people who do agree with me and do want to follow me and do want to take on what I can teach them. And everyone else, they can go and live their life. I don't judge them, I don't disrespect them, anything. Complete respect for them. They're just doing their own thing, and that's okay.
So nice. It's like, just remove those negative people, the negative vibes around you. You don't have to have any negative feelings for them, but just put them on the side. Like,
exactly.
I remember this happened with me, but I went a step further. I deleted the comment and I blocked the person. I was like,
absolutely.
Yeah. I was like, why is this person on my radar? I don't need such people. And it's actually funny, because some people, they get a bit offended, a bit scared, and they take a step back. So I guess it's important to set it out there. It's fine. People will always have something to say. You find your direction. Any way you have to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So the steps that we discussed right now, Lucy, like what, why, how, and have faith. Is there any initiation point that, okay, today just sit down, make a list and begin, instead of like, I'll do it tomorrow. I don't know when to begin. I don't know what, why, how, when.
Yeah.
So is there any initiation?
Well, it depends on how obvious things are to you. If you already know what you want to do really broadly and in great detail, brilliant, your heads up, you're there.
Right.
You know, you've just got to really figure out why and build the confidence to do it. But generally speaking, people struggle, you know, because there are so many different ways that a clear direction can't be got to because of what's going on in the world. There's so many different ways that people struggle to know how to achieve their dreams, because again, there's just one universal path that's promoted. So you have to be imaginative, you have to think outside of the box. You know, if your dream is unique as you are, the path to it is going to be as unique as you are. You know, you're going to have to research, you're going to have to put effort in. And so it's up to you. Either you can kind of schedule some time to do the research for yourself, or I have recently published the Finding Direction Guided Journal. And what that literally does, it goes from complete, I have no idea what I want, down to one single goal that if you take action on every single day for the next year, you will be so much closer to the life that you want than if you don't have that goal, if you never had that clarity of direction.
Right.
And finally, you'll also, by chasing this goal, you'll live that fulfilling life, because you'll know that goal every single day will be of meaning, because you're building towards that bigger future. You know?
Right. Yeah, I was actually going to touch this point just now, that how does your journal plays a role in it? Like, you know, helping people to actually begin and reach somewhere. So is it like that you have to follow the journal or write in it every day? How does it work?
So it's a guided journal. So there's prompts on every page, and you just write out your thoughts. And the way it is sorted is it starts out with basically helping you to brain dump. And just look around and brain dump everything, and then it goes through and it starts to slowly but surely filter everything down. It goes from kind of discovery, then into dreams, then to purpose, motivations. Remember what I was talking about, having a really clear reason for why you're doing things, so you can commit to it and keep recommitting to it.
Right.
And then it goes down into a roadmap. So thinking about when are you going to attack each dream. So for example, think about me, my philanthropy is in 2-3 years time down the road.
Right.
Yeah, I've got that mapped, that's in the plans, and that's in the journal as well. And then finally it's goals, and it's looking at making 10 crystal clear goals for the next 5 years, the next 3 years, and the next year. To really kind of push towards that vision of the future that you've just made. And finally it brings it all down to one keystone goal. Which is, if you take action towards that, most, if not all, of your other goals will get accomplished. Generally speaking, one of the goals is it's that big front of the head. If that's the goal I'm pushing for, and then everything else kind of comes to just by doing it.
Right. It's very interesting, because when we say like dumping our brains out, some people just do it. Just like on a sheet of paper, on like their laptops, in Word documents. But I would like to say here, it has to be done in a structured way. That's why we have these journals, that you actually do it in an organized way.
That's the greatest thing about our brains, is it is a processing unit. It is not a memory bank. And the difficulty is if you don't ask the questions, you won't come up with the answers.
Ooh, really nice. Yeah.
So that's what these prompts do. It asks the questions so that you can come up with the answers.
So true. Many of us, we never ask the questions. If there's a problem, there's a problem. That's it. We don't ask why, how, where. No, it's a problem. That's it. So interesting. Ask questions, people. So Lucy, can you tell us like one thing, like just one thing that can be a problem with everyone when they're actually beginning to find what's their path of direction of clarity in their life?
Well, here's the thing. There is no one universal problem. Equally as there's no one universal direction. So it's, in my opinion, the question is probably phrased wrong. But that being said, everyone will come up against obstacles. Everyone will come up against these opportunities to learn more, to rethink it. And that's okay. That is more than okay. You know, that's as normal as it gets,
Right.
to have unique problems is normal. I think that's the irony.
So true, so true. It's beautiful in its
And
own
just be
way.
prepared for them. Be prepared for them. And the way you face them is, as I say, having those motivations, knowing why you're doing this, and recommitting. Talk to people about your goals, I think, is another thing. Make it really vocal, saying, right, this is what I'm going to do and this is why. And because there is this idea called the theory of narrative identity. Mm-hmm. And if we base our image of ourselves on what we want instead of what we want to achieve, not necessarily material things, but more in meaning, than on what we've done in the past, we'll be more encouraged to go and achieve those things because of what's called consistency bias. Effectively, the more we talk about things, the more we want to be consistent in our actions, and effectively it just kind of perpetuates you to move further and further towards your goals.
Right. There are so many people out there who actually believe in don't say it till you make it.
That's dangerous. You're hiding is what I'm saying. You're hiding. You're scared of your ambition. And don't get me wrong, I have been there. That was me. And that's perfectly okay to be nervous and to be worried, because it's not easy to say this is what I want, and there is going to be resistance, especially if it's of meaning to you. But what I always say to people is, if you don't put yourself in a position to fail, you don't put yourself in a position to succeed. So
nicely. Excellent point, I guess. Like, you actually have to be prepared to be failed as well. Have confidence, basically.
Yeah.
Like, if you, as you said in the beginning as well, when you know your what, why, how, you will garner confidence in you instead of just looking for it outside.
So if you want a point on confidence is built on recent prior success. So keep a list of all of the smallest wins, nothing big, because the big wins come from a mountain of small wins,
So true. Yeah.
And so just keeping a list of the small wins, and keeping a list of the gains that you've made recently. So every time your confidence falters, you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, you can just look at that and say, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I did that. That was me too. And, you can just build yourself back up again, just to face the next challenge. And that's what and another thing is, it's an infinite game. You're constantly pushing. You're not playing to win. You're playing to keep on playing.
Right. So true.
And when you have that purpose, that meaning, it matters, every single day matters. And it doesn't matter if you ever get to the end goal, because all of the good that you've done already, you're winning every single day when you're working towards a meaningful goal,
Right. So true. It's beautifully said. And I always ask all my guests that, what according to you is a happy life or a successful life? To you, I want to add an extra question to that how does having a clear direction play a role in a happy or successful life?
So happiness to me is living a fulfilling life. I think that was pretty much self-explanatory.
Yeah.
When it comes to what a fulfilling life is, as I say, it's working towards a meaningful goal. My goal is to help other people live a fulfilling life. My passion to fulfill that purpose is my company, Keys to Clarity. And so happiness to me is quite literally working on my business.
Wow.
So it all kind of lines up. Once you've got that clear direction, you're acting towards it. When it comes to what a clear direction means for happiness, is there's a couple of elements to this. So first and foremost, when you've got a clear direction, you are generally doing one of three things. Because you are helping other people through your purpose, you've got what's called relatedness. So you're building strong connections with people. They're not transactional. It's not I give you my time, I give you money, or anything like that. You're genuinely there to give to people and to help others.
Yeah.
You're not there for what you can get from them. You're not there from the money, because remember, now we've put profit as a byproduct. It's not your main intention. It's not your priority,
Right.
So you've got that relatedness. You've also got competency. Because you've been practicing on these interests of yours, you've been getting much better and better and at these skills. You're mastering these skills. You're competent. You've got this competency of something. And that's the second part. And then thirdly, you've probably got autonomy, because what you're doing is either you've put yourself in a career where you are trusted to set your own objectives and to set your own time and things like that,
Right.
or you've gone and done your own thing, you know, because you know you've got your direction, you know what you want to do.
Right.
And
Yeah.
if there is a job which isn't allowing you to do that, you've gone out and you've done it anyway, because you know your direction, you know what you're doing, you know why you're doing it, and you've found a way to do it, you know. When the why is strong enough, what's the word? Yeah. When the why is strong enough, you'll find the how, or something like that. There's a quote that goes like that. I'll have to look that one up. And you'll have autonomy. And it, strangely enough, relatedness, competency, and autonomy are the 3 psychological needs for mental well-being, according to the self-determination theory.
Wow.
So that's why it is so important for it to have a clear vision, because through a clear vision, you'll have relatedness, you'll have competency, and you'll gain autonomy, mental well-being.
Yes. Yeah, I guess this should actually encourage everyone to look for their clear directions. And definitely refer to Lucy's journals, because that way you can have a structured approach towards it. Because otherwise you don't know. It's like, bareheaded chickens just like roaming here and there and not getting where to go. Brilliant. Excellent. So as we are reaching towards the end of our show, would you like to give one last message to all our viewers and listeners?
To be fair, I've given so much. It's kind of comes a point of what do I add?
Yeah.
I think that there's one thing that I would say is you must carve your path. Even if you don't have the clearest direction, just make sure that you are taking steps to kind of go against the grain and work towards your grain, you know? I know that metaphor kind of breaks down a little bit, but don't follow what everyone else is doing, because you're not going to find happiness chasing other people's dreams.
So true, so true. That's beautiful, Lucy. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm sure we learned a lot. Thank you very much. And thank you everyone for listening today and for viewing the channel. I'll be coming up next week as well with another show with you. Keep tuned in. TBC, you and me.